Well, this should be a lesson in American politics as well as my story. Came a point when I realized I no longer had the income I would like and couldn't maintain the home I was in and had to get out. And my children all knew, unfortunately, they always knew that I could take care of myself. They didn't need to help me. And the only way I could find a place that I could afford was low-cost federal housing. And so I started my research on the East Coast, where I am now, and on the West Coast, where my son was, and already said, everything's very expensive here, you won't be able to find a place here. So this geared me to the government housing, where I would be able to get something. And I found that both coasts had the same problem, because this is a federal program. I could only go into what they called Section 8 housing for the low income, very low income. And there were no certificates being distributed for these. So I had to go and find a house, a unit, an apartment that was already assigned to Section 8. And in my travels, I did research for close to 3 years on this. In my travels, I found out that there is one unit available to every 15 applicants. And I was advised to stop trying, and there was no other answer, so I didn't stop trying. Then one day, I called, I was told not to apply to Princeton. Princeton's a very nice area. I was told not to apply because it's for residents only. And there were long waiting lists. And then I went through a list that I'd gotten from the state, and there was this place in Princeton that was a place I'd like to be, in an area I'd like to be, etc. But I just didn't think there was any point in applying. Now, one day, I got this same list 3 times. You ask for something, you get nothing or everything. And so I looked at it again, and I kept seeing this thing in Princeton. Finally, I said to myself, you're making all these calls. Make one more call. What's the difference? Try it. When I called, I got the director of the housing herself, and she says, are you a Princeton resident? No. Anyone in your family live in Princeton? No. Well, I'm going to send you an application anyway, because our Princeton list is short, and there's a good chance that you should get something. So she mailed me the application, and I mailed it right back. But the question on the application said, are you a Princeton resident? Does anyone in your family live in Princeton? Did you ever work in Princeton? Now, I never worked in Princeton. I worked around Princeton. I got assignments doing Gallup poll, which is political research, all kinds of research. There are 4 Gallup companies in Princeton that I worked for, and eventually I worked for them as an agency as well. And when I said 45 years on and off, there's absolutely no proof. But she accepted it. All the records have got to be gone by now, including mine. And then, from the day she accepted the application, the next day I went to look at another place that said you have to come in and make out the application. That place was so miserable that I just didn't want to go home. I figured now I'm going to find this Elm Court in Princeton and feel better when I get home. When I got here, I was amazed. I'd been here before. It was beautiful. I recognized it, but I never got inside, and you'd never know that this was housing, senior housing. Now I called and asked if I could have an appointment to look at an apartment. And they made an appointment with me, and I came to look at the apartment, and the director gave the keys to 2 apartments to me and said, when you leave, turn them into this woman, I'll be gone. Come, hand her back the keys. When I was finished looking, and the next thing she says is, which one do you want? And they wanted me in December 21st, and I said, no way, it's 2 weeks, I cannot do that. I finally got in the end of January, and they still weren't ready. The reason being that their computer wasn't working, so they couldn't figure out my rent. We compromised. She did it by hand, and here I am, and I still don't know what my rent is. But that's okay. And this all happened at this point. From the first time I spoke to them to moving in was less than 2 months. But in 3 weeks, I had the apartment. I've been fighting for years. I couldn't get any place. That's the way it works. And you also have to know the ropes. You've got to remember that part. You have to know how to fight it and how to play the game, which I did for 2.5 to 3 years.